Hello. Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the current affairs classes. So, I hope you all are doing well. We will be covering 17th to 18th November news analysis in today's class. Okay. So, let's begin with the first section. And I hope audio and video is all good. Can anyone please confirm? Sound is clear? Visuals are clear? All right. So first, in ESI business category, you have a penalty in news. Sometimes they can ask you, but not every penalty is important. But at least go through the name of the entity on which the penalty has been imposed and the amount. So Competition Commission of India has imposed 213.14 crores on Meta. Meta is basically the erstwhile Facebook, right? So Meta has been imposed with the Competition Commission of India with a fine of 213.14 crores for abusing its dominant position in the market. Also, WhatsApp will not share user data collected on its platform with other Meta companies or Meta company products for advertising purpose for a period of 5 years. This is also one of the things, right? So remember the amount, 213.14 crores penalty on Meta. Then in the banking news, we have Karnataka Bank has launched 2 financial products, the KBL Peak and KBL Genius. This is kind of a loan support to students to make them pursue higher education, right? So this is loan support product. 2 financial products have been launched by Karnataka Bank, KBL Peak and KBL Genius. KBL Peak, if you see, is education loan, KBL Peak. So they can ask you why this is in news. KBL Peak is education loan which is offering up to 2 crores of rupees for higher education expenses, and KBL Genius is student savings account. Okay, so remember the difference. KBL Peak is education loan and KBL Genius is savings account, particularly designed for a student so that they can start saving as well, right? Student savings account, because you know it's better to keep your money in savings account. You get the interest on the amount deposited after a certain limit. So these are the benefits, which include free cyber insurance and other benefits. Now this is a stark feature of it, cyber insurance. This KBL Genius for a student savings account will include cyber insurance. Anything happens, any cyber attack etc. happen which disrupts the, say, software or creates a threat onto the account, so you will be protected against it. So remember KBL Peak and KBL Genius. Then you have ICICI Prudential Life Insurance has introduced industry's first increasing income feature. ICICI Prudential Life Insurance has introduced first in the industry this feature, increasing income feature, has been introduced in the annuity products, which is ICICI Pro Guaranteed Pension Plan Flexi. Okay. Now what is this? This is the name, but then what is the feature? Feature offers a 5%, remember, 5% annual increase in the annuity payout. So this basically is like dearness allowance given to the employees of the government. Are you getting my point? Right? We get dearness allowance as a government employee to adjust for the rising inflation, because rising inflation reduces your purchasing power, isn't it? So this is first in the industry where the annuity payouts on the annuity products of the insurance industry, you get 5% annual hike or 5%, remember this percentage, annual increase in the annuity payout, helping retirees manage inflation as well as maintain their standard of living. So this will be adjusting your earnings for inflation, also will help you in maintaining good standard of living. So this is particularly important for all the IRDAI aspirants, right, for the upcoming level or interview. This was the banking news. Remember, 5% annual increase, important feature. Then in the national and state news, Union Home Minister has inaugurated Golden Jubilee edition of what? So this is Golden Jubilee edition of your All India Police Science Congress. Remember, All India Police Science Congress, where at Rashtriya Raksha University in Gandhinagar, Gujarat on 19th November. So this much is the mere fact. You do not require much detail into this. Just remember this thing, Gandhinagar, remember the location. Then you have Union Ports, Shipping, Waterways Minister has informed that India is targeting a port handling capacity of 10,000 million metric tons per annum by 2047. So this is a broader target given out clearly by the coming directly from the ports industry, ports ministry. So this becomes really important for you, right? So remember, by 2047, how much are we targeting to double the port handling capacity? It is 10,000 million metric tons per annum by 2047. Remember, 10,000 million metric tons per annum by 2047. 10,000 MMT, okay, per annum by 2047. This is important. Remember that. Why? Because we want to revolutionize our maritime sector, and you see, maritime trade is also important. So if we overall current account deficit, if we want to reduce it, and if we want to maximize exports and reduce the import dependency, we will have to improve the port handling capacities, maritime trade, and for that, port handling capacity is a basic necessity, right? So that's why this becomes important. Then you have National Youth Festival 2025. It will be celebrated as Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue on 11th and 12th January 2025. This much only is there in news, and when the event happens, it will be there in the news in much detail. Whatever comes out, we will discuss it then. So just remember, it is about to happen in January 2025. So National Youth Festival as Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue, scheduled to be held in January 2025. Then we have something important here. Remember this. We have 56th Tiger Reserve of India. What is the name? The Guru Ghasidas Tamor Pingla Tiger Reserve. Where? Location, remember, it is in Chhattisgarh. Yes, we have shifted to the old format now of current affairs, since you all were demanding the old format only. But there is a change that after discussing all these things in the news, in the PDF format, as we have been doing, at last I take up top 5 MCQs of the news as shorts, right? So top 5 shorts you will be provided so as to test your revision from the class itself. It will also give you a hint of what kind of topics are more important. So this is the thing, remember, 56th Tiger Reserve of India, Guru Ghasidas Tomar Pingla Tiger Reserve, where? Chhattisgarh. Alright, and this makes it the 3rd largest tiger reserve in the country. This is very, very important. 56th, remember this number, and 3rd largest after Nagarjun Sagar Siri Salem Tiger Reserve in Andhra Pradesh and the Manas Tiger Reserve in Assam, right? So we have Nagarjun Sagar Siri Salem as the 1st largest, 2nd is the Manas Tiger Reserve from Assam, and then you have 3rd one as the Ghasidas Tiger Reserve, 3rd largest, and 56th in the series. Then you have 27,000 crore Assam semiconductor plant to be a game changer in India's electronic chip ecosystem. Semiconductors, I have always been highlighting in my CA classes. Anything in news regarding UPI and semiconductor is important for all the examinations, irrespective. I'm not targeting any one of them, right? Because semiconductor is a future industry. So you see, we have covered certain important facts. If you remember the Sanand project from Gujarat, in 2023, the first proposal for setting up a semiconductor unit, production unit in India was in Sanand, Gujarat. Remember this fact. Then we have development of semiconductor unit in Moregaon, Assam. Development of semiconductor unit in Moregaon, Assam by Tata Semiconductor Assembly and Test Private Limited. So they are going to start this thing in Moregaon, Assam, and It is investment is 27,000 crore. It is expected to be completed by mid 2025. Semiconductor mein India is lagging behind in the domestic capabilities. Why? It is a capital intensive country. It requires capital intensive industry. It requires a lot of capital. It requires a lot of technology. Also requires a lot of water. Right? So that's why it is difficult to set up such kind of industries. But then we are trying to expand the domestic production capabilities in semiconductor industries. First such project launched, remember, was in Sanand, Gujarat in 2023 itself. Okay? And Tatas are basically pioneering these projects everywhere. So this is in Moregaon, the next one. And we have a dedicated project for this as well, the Semicon India program. Semicon India program launched by Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology, MeitY. Total 76,000 crore outlay has been given. You can identify the significance of the program. So just remember, first proposal was in Sanand, Gujarat. In February 2024, 3 more semiconductors, they were approved by the ministry. Tata Electronics, again, as I told you, Tatas are pioneering this thing. Tata Electronics is setting up a semiconductor fabrication unit in Dholera, Gujarat, and 1 semiconductor unit in Moregaon, Assam. So we have 3 units, right? Sanand, Moregaon, Assam, and then you have Dholera, Gujarat. Also, CG Power is also setting up a semiconductor industry in Sanand. So Sanand one is by CG Power. Then we have next news, the Dragon Palace Temple. Dragon Palace Temple has marked its 25th anniversary in Nagpur, Kamptee. Okay. This something which you need to remember from here is, because it has recently marked 25th anniversary, is that the Ogawa Society of Japan, Ogawa Society of Japan, it has contributed in building this beautiful monastery complex. So it is kind of a monastery, not more of a temple, but more of a monastery at Kamptee in Japan. So you have a lot of monks from Japan representing, it is representing the monks from the Japan. So remember, Dragon Palace Temple. Then we have Bharat National Cyber Security Exercise in news, Bharat NCX 2024. What is this Bharat NCX 2024? Bharat NCX 2024, it was inaugurated as high profile ceremony by National Security Council Secretariat in collaboration with Rashtriya Raksha University. Okay. So this was a high profile event in collaboration with National Security Council and Rashtriya Raksha University to deliberate upon the prospects of cybersecurity in India and deal and mitigate the terror of cybersecurity, to identify solutions for these and technology for dealing with the cyber crimes. Then you have United States has returned more than 14,000 looted artifacts worth $10 million to India as part of an ongoing initiative to repatriate stolen art from countries across South and Southeast Asia. So you see, during the time of colonialism, when countries, they pursued the theory of colonialism, like, India was a colony of the Britishers, right? So during that time, a lot of precious items, they were looted down and then they were taken back to the imperial countries. Now, because now we have good ties with other nations, we don't follow colonialism and we all believe in sovereignty, so it is good idea to return back all those things to end that legacy of imperialism, right? So this is ongoing practice, and that's how worth $10 million of artifacts, looted artifacts, have been returned by US. And in this regard, you can remember that in July 2024, India and US have signed their first cultural property agreement for this. Cultural property agreement for acquiring back the looted antiquities or crafts. Okay. Then we have next the state news category. Karnataka's king cobra has been found in Western Ghats and known as Kalinga Sarpa in Kannada will get its name Kalinga etched in the scientific world. Okay. So now, if you see the scientific name of this species, the king cobra, it will be Ophiophagus kalinga. Remember, this is going to be important, right? Because it is originally the Kalinga Sarpa, known as Kalinga Sarp in Kannada language. So now the scientific name will also get this addition of the name Kalinga. So the scientific name of king cobra will be Ophiophagus kalinga. Okay, remember that. Then we have 24 coastal villages in Odisha. They have been recognized by the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO as tsunami ready. It reflects India's growing capacity to deal with natural disaster risks, right? We are ready for disaster risk management, or we are investing heavily on disaster risk management. So 24 coastal regions have been declared as tsunami ready. They can deal with any tsunami-like situation. And this recognition was given during the second Global Tsunami Symposium. So remember, where was the second Global Tsunami Symposium held? It was held in Indonesia on 11th November 2024. And these are the villages located in Balasore, Bhadrak, Kendrapada. Then you have Jagat Singhpur, Puri and Ganjam districts. So remember the number 24. Where? At the second edition of Global Tsunami Symposium held in Indonesia. Then in the international news, we have something really important. The 2024 G20 Summit. G20 summits are very important for all the examinations. You have seen when India presided over the G20, tell me, I am expecting your answers. In which year did India preside over the G20? G20. G20 is the top largest economies group, you know that, right? In which year did India preside over the G20? I'm waiting for your answers. So 2024 G20 summit is in news. It is being held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. From November 18 to 19 it was held. And in this, you have Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty in news. Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty in news. 23, okay. All right. So the next question, who is presiding over the 2024 G20 summit? Tell me. Location, so I have told you कि Brazil में it has happened. Tell me which country is presiding the G20 in 2024 year. So we have Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty in news because of G20 2024. So what is this? This is a coalition of governments, international organizations, NGOs, various stakeholders, right? So it is a voluntary organization kind of thing. This aims to eradicate hunger. Now, very important fact you have in front of you, which is SDG 2. You have Sustainable Development Goals, right? How many SDGs do we have? 17. Okay, so Brazil. Yes, 2024 May, very good. Brazil is presiding over the G20. Eradicating hunger, which is second SDG out of the total 17 SDGs. So remember, eradication of hunger is goal of this Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. Then eradicating poverty as well, which is SDG 1, and reducing inequalities, which is SDG 10, and support other interlinked SDGs. So remember, you can be asked about these number of SDGs, right? So remember these number of SDGs. Like hunger ke liye you have SDG 2, poverty ke liye you have SDG 1, and then for inequalities etc. remember all these 17 ones. This alliance basically aims towards eradication of hunger and poverty. Founding members of Global Coalition Against Hunger and Poverty are 148. Remember, 148 founding members, those countries which were member during its foundation when it was established. And upcoming G20 host के बारे में if you see 2025 में it will be hosted by South Africa and 2026 में G20 summit will be hosted by the USA. So we have 24 Brazil, right? 25 South Africa and 26 May US. One more important fact regarding G20 2024, theme of G20 in 2024. The 2024 theme is building a just world and a sustainable planet. Building a just world and a sustainable planet. Like you know, when India presided over it, India gave the world Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right? But then in 2024, we have building a just world and sustainable planet. Remember this. Now moving on to the next news. Then we have UAE, United Arab Emirates, has unveiled an ambitious initiative to establish Global Energy Efficiency Alliance during COP29. So recently COP29 has also been in news. We have covered this thing, hosted in Baku, Azerbaijan. In this, UAE has pioneered for the establishment of Global Energy Efficiency Alliance to double the energy efficiency rates by 2030 and also to work collectively towards reduction of emissions, global emissions, okay, greenhouse gas emissions. Then we have a typhoon named Man-yi in news, okay. So this is in news, and remember the associated country Philippines may we have a potentially catastrophic super typhoon it is, which is Man-yi. In news. This much is important. Then we have, according to the ranking released on the ongoing G20 2024 summit, we have a ranking for, we have some forecast for India. So this figure can be relevant for the examinations. India is projected to be fastest growing economy among the G20 countries with a 7% of GDP growth rate, followed by Indonesia and China. Now this is very, very important. Remember, out of your all the G20 economies, India is the fastest growing. Okay. India is the fastest growing with the expected GDP growth of 7% for 2024. 7%. Followed by 5% from Indonesia and 4.8% from China. So remember this 7%. Then we have Gabonese voters. Gabon, if you see this name, Gabon. Gabon is a country from your South African continent, right? So Gabonese voters, they have approved of a new constitution by 91.8% landslide by proposed by country's military rules. So this is going to be a new constitution with 2-year term. It is going to increase the length of terms from 5 years to 7 years, abolish the position of the Prime Minister, etc. So there was a referendum recently held, and this country is therefore in news, Gabon. So since country is in news, just remember they have voted down for establishment of a new constitution. Okay. So that's why the features about the facts about this country, they become important. What is the capital of Gabon? Capital is Libreville. Okay. Capital is Libreville. President is Brice Oligui Nguema. Prime Minister is Raymond Ndong Sima. And then you have currency as Central African CFA franc. So basically prime language, if you see, is French. It used to be a French colony. That's why you have the French as the official language here. That's why the currency is also Central African CFA franc. And the capital, remember, is Libreville. As I told you, is a South African country from the South African continent. It's basically Central African, okay? Then moving on to the MOUs and mergers. So we have India's Tata Electronics agreed to buy a majority stake in Taiwanese contract manufacturer Pegatron's only iPhone plant in India. So Tata Steel has dealt with Pegatron. Pegatron, remember, for what? For iPhone plant in Tamil Nadu. You only have this plant, Pegatron's plant of iPhone manufacturing in Tamil Nadu. For this, Tata has signed a deal with this, okay? And Tata will be holding 60% and they will be running the daily operations under this joint venture. For this, the country Pegatron will be holding the rest and provide technical support, okay? So remember this joint venture. Then we have next thing, science, tech and defense. Mein very, very important news coming from here. We have GSAT 20. So ISRO basically has first time launched any satellite on board the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Okay. So that's why this is important, via its NSIL, which is the commercial wing of ISRO. That's why this is important. So remember, ISRO has launched this satellite GSAT 20 from where? From SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket in US. From the Cape Canaveral in US with the help of SpaceX's rocket. What about this GSAT 20? So what kind of purpose it is going to serve? GSAT series, if you see, the geosynchronous satellites, they are particularly sent for communication purposes. They are communication satellites, okay? Because the polar satellites, the polar range is for the remote sensing one, because they are generally placed in the lower orbits of the Earth. The communication satellites, they are generally placed in the higher orbits, right? So in lower Earth orbits, you have these remote sensing satellites, but in the upper orbits, the higher orbits, you have these communication satellites. So GSAT is a communication satellite, one of the heaviest communication satellites. Okay, and why did we launch it with the help of Falcon 9? Why didn't we launch it with our own rocket? Because it was too heavy for it. Too heavy for the LVM-3. LVM-3 is the new name for the erstwhile GSLV Mark 3. Earlier, we used to launch these communication satellites with the help of GSLV Mark 3, MK3. But now GSLV Mark 3 is known as LVM-3, right? So this is heavy for it. And remember one thing, this is important, GSAT 20, because this is for the first time that ISRO has launched a satellite on a SpaceX rocket through its commercial arm NSIL, as I told you, right? The New Space India Limited. Now this NSIL is also very, very important. It is the commercial wing, commercial arm of ISRO. So remember, it was founded recently, March 6, 2019, headquartered in Bengaluru, Karnataka, under the Department of Space. I hope this is clear. Then in defense, we have, okay, one second. All right. So now we have the defense section. In defense, we have DRDO. The Defense Research and Development Organization has conducted a successful flight trial of India's first long-range hypersonic missile. Hypersonic, right? So hypersonic is one stage lesser than the supersonic. I think less or higher. It should be less, right? Not sure, very much sure about that. Just confirm. But this is hypersonic. Hypersonic missile from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island off the coast of Odisha. So just remember this. This is first long-range hypersonic missile from where? From Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island off the coast of the state of Odisha. And it will be carrying a lot of payloads for ranges greater than 1500 km for the armed forces. This can carry payload for this much of the range. Yes, so hypersonic basically is the speed at least 5 times the speed of sound. So, you know, in the engines, when we talk about the cruise or say ballistic missiles and these missile technologies mein, when we talk about the classification of engines, so you have this terminologies like Mach, okay? This is Mach 5. which is 5 times the speed of sound. This much fast it is. This much fast. Remember. Then in the rankings we have, according to the Grievance Redressal Assessment Index 2023, launched by Union Minister of State for Science and Technology. This index is in news. It was designed and the concept was given by Grievance Redressal Assessment, DARPG. The first edition, remember, was released in 2023. What are the dimensions on which it judges? It gives you the number. So it basically assesses how much efficiently you are able to redress the grievances, the issues, right? There are, remember, 4 dimensions. Clearly remember all these 4 dimensions. First is efficiency, second is feedback, third is domain, and fourth is organizational commitment. Efficiency, feedback, domain, and organizational commitment, right? So these are the indicators, and several departments, they are ranked accordingly how much efficient they are in terms of grievance redressal. So group A, broadly if you see, sub indicators 11 will be there, but then dimensions are 4. Broadly 4 dimensions will be there. So you have group A. Group A में you have rank 1 as Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, going to Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Rank 2 you have Department of Posts, and rank 3 में you have Ministry of Cooperation. Okay. Group B में, where grievances are 2000 to 9999 की range में, you have Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Second rank Department of Land Resource, and third rank is Niti Aayog. And group C में, with grievances of less than 2000, you have Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, Ministry of Development of Northeastern Regions, and Department of Pharmaceuticals. So the group A, B and C are there with the number of grievances they deal with almost. So more than 10,000 wale are clubbed in group A, 2,000 to 9,999 group B, and then we have less than 2,000 group C, and we have rank. So you can remember this. And the report highlights that the grievance redressal time, average grievance redressal time, if you see, it has also been reduced. So this highlights government sustained efforts towards the governance kind of thing. So less of government and more of governance wala jo motto hai government ka, they are trying to serve it, right? So this is the thing. Grievance time has also reduced to 13 days from 30 days erstwhile. Remember that. Then in the next report you have labor force participation. This is very, very important. So we have the periodic labor force survey quarterly bulletin for July-September 2025 is out. You have to go through this news very religiously in your content, okay? I have explained you in the finance and economy editorials what is labor force, what is workforce, what is labor force participation rate, what is workforce participation rate, right? So just giving you a hint once again, labor force is that population which is able to and willing to work basically. Able to means you are in the working age population, 15 to 59 years of age, okay? And you are willing to work as well. If you don't want to work, you are not unemployed, clear? So able to and willing to work is labor force. Out of that labor force who are able to and willing to work, how many are employed is the workforce. Remember that. So percentage of the population which is able to work and willing to work, therefore searching for work, is the labor force participation rate. I hope this is clear. And percentage of total population which, okay, so workforce will be percentage of labor force which is employed, to be very specific. Those who are willing to work and they are able to work, how many of them have really got the work? That is the workforce. Okay, so labor force is increasing in India. This is what the survey highlights. Labor force participation rate in urban areas among persons between 15 years and above has increased from 49.3% to 50.4%. Remember, it has increased to 50.4% in this quarter. the July to September wala quarter. Labor force for male has also increased, and female LFPR, if you see, in urban areas has also increased. In the last labor force participation survey which we have discussed, we have witnessed that labor force participation, also workforce participation, is expanding in male and female both, right? And you see worker population ratio, it has also increased, all right? But if we look at the unemployment rate in the urban areas for people aged between 15 years and above has actually decreased from 6.6% to 6.4%. That is also a good indicator, isn't it? Unemployment should actually fall down, employment should increase. So unemployment is falling, and if you see, unemployment rate among males has also decreased, unemployment rate among female has also decreased. So overall, unemployment rates are falling. You can remember the broad figures, the most important ones, and labor force participation rate, workforce participation rate, they are increasing. Yes, you can say that the difference between the labor force and workforce is that of the unemployed or the employed ones, right? Because labor force is the people out of total population are able to and willing to work. So they are searching for work. How many of them get actual work is the employed one. So the difference is of the unemployed one, right? Okay, so go through this news article in the content carefully and remember the important figures. I have explained you all the concepts. Then we have, according to the periodic labor force survey only, also who conducts this? So your MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Since 2017-18, it has been conducted. And data related to your female employment indicators last 6 years, it points out to enhanced engagement of women in economic activities. If you see the data related to LFPR, workforce population ratio for past 6 years, it is quite improving. So it highlights the growing engagement of women in economic activities. India's labor market has also improved. So if you see the worker population ratio for women, it has doubled from 17-18 levels to 23-24. It has doubled. So that's how it is important. Remember, worker population ratio for particularly women. This data is important. You can remember that. And the labor force participation rate, significantly it has increased, particularly for women. So this is the table clubbing the most important data for you. You can remember this table at least. The LFPR for women, it has increased from 23.3% to 41.7%. Okay. And then the unemployment rate has declined sharply from 6 to 2%. So let's discuss what are the reasons. So a significant proportion of females, if you see 37.94%, cited continuing education as the primary reason for being out of the workforce. So higher qualifications pay we have to focus, right? Because lot of people, they have cited this as one of the important reason. Remember, the continuing education. Also domestic commitments. Females, they generally have domestic commitments. For that, they readily sacrifice their dreams, their jobs, right? Which is not a good idea. So a notable 43.04% of women have identified child care and other homemaking responsibilities as barriers into their becoming an active participant of the workforce, right? So these are the challenges: higher education, skills, domestic responsibilities. So men and women, they need to realize that homemaking is not gender specific, right? Homemaking is a shared responsibility. You have to share it, right? Then we have 2024 edition of International Migration Outlook. 2024 edition of International Migration Outlook, released by the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which gives you data regarding recent migration movements or migration trends. So let's see, what do we have? India's status, if you see, India has recorded 5,60,000 Indians migrating to OECD countries in 2022, which is a jump of more than 30%. So we have emigration happening, right? Then we have India also maintaining its lead as the top source of new migrants, with China following 3.2. So we are also a top source of new migrants for the countries, India say. Then Indians made up 6.4% of all new migrants to OECD countries. So basically the question is, in the OECD countries, out of the total migrants going to the OECD countries, maximum migrants are coming from India, followed by China. I hope this is clear. Right? So you can remember the headquarters of these top institutions or organizations as well, like OECD, who all are there in news because of any publication of rank index, etc. You see, they have asked these questions recently. So OECD headquarters are there in Paris, France. OECD is headquartered in Paris, France. Right? OECD is 38 member countries. Then in the award section, we have Prime Minister being conferred with the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger Award by Nigeria. So Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has been conferred with this award by Nigeria. Prior to this, prior to Prime Minister of India, the only foreign dignitary to have previously received this award was Queen Elizabeth in 1969. After her, this is Indian Prime Minister who has received this award. So remember, this becomes important. Okay, and that's why Nigeria ke facts also become important. Like Nigerian president is Bola Tinubu, capital is Abuja, and currency is Nigerian Naira. Then we have Victoria, crowned as the Miss Universe, first contestant from Denmark to achieve this honor. So Victoria Tilvik has been crowned as Miss Universe. Okay, and she is the first contestant, from Denmark to achieve this honor. And India's Riya Singha has been there in the list of top 30 contestants. So remember, India was represented by Riya Singh, and Riya Singh has been in top 30 contestants, but Miss Universe crown has gone to Victoria Tilvik from Denmark. Current affairs के लिए you only have to follow these live classes on YouTube. Current affairs is happening only on YouTube, okay? No separate offline classes are there for CA. You just follow these classes and follow the content, that would be more than sufficient. Then in the sports news, let's see, what do we have? India will be hosting the Global Learning and Development Framework Results Management Training in New Delhi in collaboration with World Anti-Doping Agency. Okay. Remember that. And World Anti-Doping Agency, that's why it becomes important. So its president is Vitol Banka, and then headquarters are in Montreal, Canada. Then we have Magnus Carlsen, the Norwegian chess grandmaster. Magnus Carlsen, and you have Katerina Legno, Russian chess player. They have won. Remember these two names. Magnus Carlsen from Norway, and then you have Katerina from Russia. They have won the Open Blitz and Women Blitz titles at the Tata Steel India Blitz 2024 Also remember the location. These games were held in Kolkata, India. And Indian players, if you see, so from India, Arjun Erigaisi has taken the 3rd place. R. Pragnananda has finished 4th. Okay. Then you have archery में reigning Asian Games champion Jyoti Surekha Venom has clinched the gold medal in women's compound event at Luxembourg Open. Gold medal clinched by Jyoti Surekha Venom in Luxembourg Open, and she has defeated her Belgium counterpart Sarah Preels. If you look at the men's compound event, Abhishek has bagged silver medal from India. Then you have Prima Premac Racing's George Martin from Spain has claimed his first Moto Grand Prix World Championship. China's Li Shifeng and Japan's Akane Yamaguchi won the men's and women's single title at your Kumamoto Masters badminton final. So remember these names. This was about these sports. Then moving on to the appointments category. Appointments may we have filmmaker Ashutosh Govrekar appointed as chairperson of international jury for 2024 International Film Festival of India. So 2024 के IFFI की jury के लिए who is the chairperson? Sorry. Filmmaker Ashutosh Govrekar. And you know, it is scheduled to be held in November in Goa. Then we have former Indian women's cricket captain Mithali Raj has been appointed as mentor of women's cricket operations by Andhra Cricket Association. Then you have President-elect Donald Trump has appointed Chris Wright as head of US's Department of Energy. Then Sri Lanka has appointed Sri Lanka's newly appointed cabinet of ministers has taken oath in the country. Then you have Brazil's Federal Police Commissioner Valdeci Urquiza has been elected as new Secretary General of the Interpol, the International Police. Remember this appointment, okay? And remember about Interpol. Certain facts about Interpol can be important. Where is the headquarters of Interpol, the International Police? Interpol ka headquarters is in Lyon, France. Remember that. 196 member countries are there in Interpol, International Criminal Police Organization. What is the motto? Connecting police for a safer world. Remember that. Then we have Dubai Sports Council appointed 4 global sports icon as its sports ambassadors. So we have Harbhajan Singh, then Sania Mirza, then former Indian cricketer, former tennis player, then Khabib from Russia, UFC champion, and Patrick from France, a famous footballer. These are some important sports ambassadors recently appointed by Dubai. Then in conferences, we have 11th SBI Banking and Economics Conclave recently held in Mumbai on 18th November. Remember, 11th SBI Banking and Economics Conclave. It was addressed by Union Minister of Finance Nirmala Sitharaman. Okay. What are the highlights of this conclave? So SBI will be establishing 500 new branches in the upcoming financial year. Remember that SBI will be establishing 500 new branches and some new ATMs and outlets. The banking correspondent outlets they are planning to expand. This is a push towards financial inclusion, so you can utilize these figures in those answers as well. One more important fact which is important here, she has unveiled in this conclave a book titled The Evolution of the State Bank of India, Volume 5. Audited also one audio book titled Evolution of the State Bank of India, Volume 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 and 5. If you see the balance sheet of SBI, so balance sheet of SBI basically has crossed 61 lakh crores as of March 2024, and the market share of SBI is 22.55% in deposits and 19.06% in advances. So total deposits out there in the market, 22.55 share is of SBI, and then in advances or loans, if you see, 19.06%. Then we have Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has or will attend the 11th ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus. Okay, so he has basically attended it in Vietnam, or say in Laos. Okay, not Vietnam, in Vientiane, Laos. So remember the location Laos it has happened on 21st November, attended by the Defense Minister as well. It was 11th edition of ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting. What is this? This basically is the highest defense consultative group in ASEAN. And what is this Defense Plus or ADMM Defense Plus, ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus? Plus basically refers to ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting as a platform for the member states and 8 dialogue partners to strengthen their defense security cooperation. So plus basically incorporates the dialogue partners as well. Countries might not be permanent members of these collaborations, these organizations, but they actively participate as dialogue partners. Okay, so remember in Defense Plus, in ADMM Plus, ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting, you have 10 ASEAN countries and then 8 dialogue partners. So 10 ASEAN countries which are members are very important. You have Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam. 8 dialogue partners may you have India. So this is important. Remember, India is a dialogue partner. Remember, India here is a dialogue partner of ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting. Okay, it is a dialogue partner apart from US, China, Russia, Japan, South Korea, Australia and New Zealand. And you all know about the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is headquartered in Jakarta, Indonesia. And 2024 chairmanship of ASEAN is being held, remember, by Laos. India became its dialogue partner in 1992. These were certain important facts. You can expect basic questions from here, okay, in the examinations to be held. Then the 3rd edition of Global Freight Summit 2024 was held in Dubai. And remember the theme, acting today to reach opportunities of tomorrow. Okay. It also emphasized on the critical pillars of integration of AI and blockchain technology in business operations. So freight is basically what we transport, the good items which we transport, right, for trade. So this was the Freight Summit 2024 and they have highlighted the importance of AI, blockchain technology in enhancing the trade. Then we have Sagar Manthan, the South Asia's largest maritime leadership forum has started in New Delhi, organized by, remember, Ministry of Ports and Shipping in association with Observer Research Foundation. Observer Research Foundation. This is Asia's largest maritime leadership forum. Then 96th death anniversary of Lala Lajpat Rai. Popularly, we all know him as Punjab Kesari, has been observed on 17th November. Okay, so the nation has remembered the sacrifice of Lala Lajpat Rai on his 96th death anniversary. You all know the famous trio who have fought against the Britishers, the extremists as people call them, right? They have fought very aggressively and religiously against the British colonial rule, the Lal, Bal and Pal, the trio of Lal, Bal, Pal, right? Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal. Then 7th, we have 7th Naturopathy Day observed on 18th November 2024 by Ministry of Ayush, emphasizing on the promoting health through a drugless system of medicine, the naturopathy. How can uh, we reduce the excessive reliance we are having on drugs nowadays? Then we have World Toilet Day, emphasizing the importance of sanitation and also ensuring the Sustainable Development Goal 6. Remember here clearly, ensuring water and sanitation for all by 2030. So World Toilet Day is observed annually on November 19. What was the theme for this year? Toilets, a place for peace. A place for peace. Okay. Then we have World AMR Awareness Week, which is Antimicrobial Resistance Awareness Week, observed every year from 18 to 24 November. And the theme, remember, was Educate, Advocate, and Act Now. Okay. Then World Day for Prevention of and Healing from Child Sexual Exploitation, Abuse, and Violence, observed annually on 18th November. What was the theme for 2024? Theme was World Day for Prevention and Healing from Child Sexual Exploitation, Abuse and Violence. Then person in news mein we have Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz became the first American since James Blake in 2006 to reach the title match of ATP finals, overcoming world number 2 Alexander Zverev in a semi-final clash in Turin, Italy. Okay, so Taylor Fritz has become the first American to reach ATP finals. Remember this name, Taylor Fritz becoming the first American to reach ATP finals. These were the news items for 17th to 18th November. Right? I hope all of this news is clear. I have explained you all the concepts. Please go through them religiously. Now we have the top 5 shorts or MCQs from today's discussion itself. I will be expecting answers from you. So the first question. Recently, Guru Ghasidas Damor Pingla Tiger Reserve located in Chhattisgarh has been notified as which number of Tiger Reserve of India? Answers please. Which number of Tiger Reserve of India has been declared recently? So the correct answer is 56th. B is the right option. If you remember from the today's class, I have taken a detailed discussion onto this. 56th Tiger Reserve of India. Okay, in terms of number and in terms of size, it is the third largest after Nagarjun Sirisalem and Manas Tiger Reserve, right? Third largest and 56th in the number. Very good. Then next question. What is the 2024 or the 2024 G20 summit is being presided over by? You all know that, right? Is being presided over by Brazil. 2025 में South Africa and 2026 में it will be hosted by USA. Remember these important facts. So second question, the correct answer would be A, Brazil. Next question. Question number 3. Recently, ISRO has launched a satellite on a SpaceX rocket through its commercial arm, New Space India Limited, which is the first such launch of satellite through its commercial arm, NSIL, or the New Space India Limited. What is the name of this satellite? GSAT 20, INSAT 20, GSAT 30, RSAT 20 or GSAT 19? Very good. GSAT 20, you know, one of the heaviest communication satellite, right? GSAT 20. And next question we have is, which of the following is not among the dimensions of the Grievance Redressal Assessment Index recently launched by the Union Minister of State, Independent Charge for Science and Technology, which has given ranks to various departments and ministries of India in terms of grievance redressal capacity, right? So, which is not one of the 4 dimensions which we have discussed in the class? Tell me. Question number 4. Efficiency, feedback, domain, organizational commitment or transparency. Very good. Transparency is not the dimension. These 4 are the dimensions, right? And total 11 indicators will be there. Next question. Last question. What was the theme of 11th SBI Banking and Economic Conclave recently held in Mumbai on 18th November? What was the theme of this conclave? Anyone? What was the theme of this 11th SBI Banking and Economics Conclave recently held in Mumbai, presided over by Union Finance Minister? Yes, any answers please? Question number 5. The theme was making aspiration of Viksit Bharat a reality. Remember, B is the correct option here. Yes, very good. Rohit. Yes, B is the correct answer. Making aspiration of Viksit Bharat a reality. So these were the top shots from today's news. I hope they will help you in your preparation and I hope this session was useful. Thank you so much for being interactive. I'll end this session here. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next class. Any doubts? Any questions from today's class? All right then. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See you in the next session.